What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I gotta go off about something that's been bothering me for a long time. This so-called American dream. You know, the idea that if you work hard, play by the rules and keep grinding, you'll end up with a nice house, a couple of cars, a family, and financial security. But let's be real, this dream is a straight-up scam in today's world. What do you think? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into it.
Do y'all see the fuckery that's going on in these goddamn grocery stores? This is my favorite shit. Simply orange juice. $7. That's simply too motherfucking high. Put this shit on Simply goddamn layaway. I'm about to come back and get you when I get paid. Shit.
Only in America do you have to pay a fee to pay a bill. Only in America do you try to go to work while you're sick because you can't afford to miss a shift. Only in America do you avoid going to the doctor because you have to pay a deductible, even with insurance. Only in America do you have to choose between filling your tank and buying groceries. Only in America does your rent go up while your paycheck stays exactly the same. Only in America and nowhere else.
I just woke up, but I hate when people are like, low fertility this, low birth rate that. No, bitch, formula's $50 fucking dollars. Daycare is like $2,000 a week. You think I'm gonna spend that on a fucking kid? Okay, let me go back. You think I have that to spend on a fucking kid? That's insane. And you are fucking insane.
You want to know what's the true American dream? It's working your little ass off here in the US for as long as you can, save up your little monies, cash it out, and then dilly-dally your way the fuck on out of here to Mexico or to Europe. The fuck out of the US and live a happy, peaceful, charmed life. Period.
Surprised people are not talking about how expensive small essentials like this is. I have eczema, so I need this all the time. Look at this, $10.99 on sale. And then this one, right here, how much is this one? Oh, $15 for lotion. And then for deodorant, $8.49 for deodorant. Toothpaste, $12.50 for toothpaste. A box of trash bags, $18.99 for a box of trash bags. So I got some trash bags, some orange juice, 2 things of lotion, some toothpaste and deodorant. Nothing major. Let's see what the total is. It's probably gonna be over $50. $80. That's a bill. I don't care what nobody say.
I just got my rent increase. Guess how much? Guess how much more they want from me? For no updates, no changes, no nothing. Building's exactly the same. 10.4% increase. 10.4%. Mind you, the average in New York for non-stabilized units is about 5.6% this year. So, obviously I will be negotiating, but at this point I feel like New York has told me it's time to go like multiple times over the last few years, so I don't know. This right on top of my over $200 Con Ed bill that I got this week is just kind of the nail in the coffin, I fear. And I know a lot of people will be happy to hear this because just another transplant getting out of here. Potentially, we'll see. I love it here, but at what point do I get sick of just surviving and not living, you know?
Living in America is so expensive that it's not even living anymore. It's just a recurring subscription. You pay to live, you pay to work, you pay to eat, you pay to sleep. Rent, more than half your income. Groceries, doubled within a year. Gas, insurance, bills, taxes, damn near make money just to give it away. You're not living the dream. You're financing your own exhaustion. And their solution is budget better. Like you're out here buying Ferraris and filet mignon every single day. When in all reality, you're broke just buying basic needs. And here's the kicker. You do everything right. You go to school, you get the job, you play by the rules, and you're still barely hanging on. It's not your fault. The system was built by design. They want you broke, distracted, and grateful for crumbs because a stressed, tired population doesn't rebel, it complies.
Hey fam, what's good? I thought I'd share this. I just got off a Zoom call with a couple of colleagues, and my girlfriends live in different states. They're homeowners. So I had one girlfriend that just bought a home, 2 girlfriends of mine that have been homeowners. Their mortgage has gone up, so they're like, they just don't understand the housing crisis in America. So let me explain this in layman terms. From 1992 to 2008, there was an influx of developers building houses everywhere. So we had more supply than demand, okay? When the crash happened in 2008, developers stopped building. Some were building, but not as much, but basically stopped. We were going through an economic crisis. When it slowly started to improve and the interest rates came down, the problem was we didn't have enough supply for the demand. So there was more people looking for housing, but we didn't have the housing. And that's why housing has skyrocketed to the roof, right? That's where we're at in America. People don't understand why housing is expensive. That's why.
Hi guys, I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. The fuck? So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews. And still nothing. Like, what the fuck is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
I spend $6,000 to $8,000 a month while living in Texas. So let me give you a breakdown on what those things are. The house where I lived at was $2,100 a month, all in all, with bills, utilities, lawn service, etc. Replenishing toilet paper, it came out to about $3,000 per month. The other apartment that I own is about $1,500 per month. With bills, utilities, etc., it's about $1,700, $1,800 per month. My car note is $500 per month. It is like a 2021 Nissan something. I pay about $150 a month for full coverage insurance for my car. I also pay the same amount for health insurance. For beauty maintenance, which is hair care, nails, lashes, my Pilates membership, Botox, whatever, I pay about $600 a month for that. Groceries per week for one person average about $100 to $150 depending on what I'm buying. I buy organic food and like very healthy, unprocessed food as well. And then that's not factoring in shopping, clothes, things for my kids, things that come up, miscellaneous things. So all in all, it probably actually goes over $8,000 a month on some months.
We are all aware of the fact that the cost of living in California is astronomically high. But for those of you who grocery shop on a weekly basis for a family of, say, like 3 to 4, what is your average grocery bill? Because for a family of 3, we are spending on average between $300 to $350 a week on groceries. That is over $1,200 a month we are spending on groceries. Granted, I do try to shop mostly organic. I buy whole foods. I try to go as unprocessed as possible. And my son and my boyfriend are human garbage disposals, so they eat a ton of food. But I still feel like that is so ridiculous. And I'm at the point where I'm wondering if it's even worth it to grocery shop, or would it be more cost effective to just eat out every day? That is a ridiculously high amount to pay on just groceries alone. And yes, it's mostly organic and whole foods, but we've been grocery shopping the same way for the past several months. And my grocery bill is getting higher and higher every month. And I'm always buying the same shit. So, yeah, I'm like, why am I spending all this money and time grocery shopping, cleaning up, cooking, when we can just treat ourselves every day? Am I right? Like, I love California though. I'm still not moving. I'm just saying.
See, the American dream is sold to us as motivation, but really it's a distraction. It keeps people chasing something that's no longer realistic, while corporations and the government profit off our struggle. It's like dangling a carrot in front of a donkey. You'll keep walking, but you'll never actually get it.
A mass exodus of American families, fed up with the cost of living in America, is underway. They are leaving to these so-called countries that you guys believed were third world. They're leaving to the countries where when you buy a home for $40,000, $50,000, you own that home and you do not owe taxes on it. They're leaving to a country where they have beautiful beaches, brand new cities, people, low crime rates, everything, all the food in those countries are organic. There's no such thing as chemicals being put into the food. So it's quite sad when $100 walking into a grocery store, you come out with 3 or 4 items in your buggy. And you can go to another country and spend $25 and have a cart full of organic, fresh groceries. It's quite sad when you can buy a home in another country for $40,000 or $50,000 on the beach. And you can have a personal chef, a maid, a nanny that only costs you $20 a month for all 3. A mass exodus is underway, not because of it being a bad, very, very bad place. It's because your money goes longer in other countries and you actually have a chance at freedom. I'm out.
My husband is 26 years old and he has a heart condition. And tomorrow he has an appointment that he is refusing to go to. And I'm doing my best to convince him. But the reason why is because we're still paying out of pocket, making payments on his last appointment that was almost a year ago. And we can't afford another $2,400 bill. On top of that, our vehicles are all falling apart. My Chevy has a blown motor. Our little Ranger, which doesn't fit our family, is literally being held together with a shoelace and some zip ties. And our Jeep is also barely being held together. In fact, the passenger or the driver door doesn't close all the way, and we can't afford to fix that. We had to go in again today and use calculators to get groceries. And it's just, that's living in America right now. And it's so frustrating because it's election year. So you're seeing all of the tricks being pulled out of the sleeves to move focus off of where it should be. You're seeing things that at rallies that have never been a part of rallies and should never be a part of rallies. These are political rallies. Nobody should be shaking their ass on the screen. And the freaking monkeypox, and it's just, it's all a distraction. And it's like, if you want to know who you should vote for, look at your finances. Ronald Reagan said it. The truth. If you want to look at who you should vote for, whose house are you in right now? And how are you living? I don't know if we can keep living like this. It's getting to be too much. He shouldn't be missing incredibly important doctor's appointments that could literally save his life so that we can afford to live. It wasn't perfect when I was growing up, but I miss what we had. What happened to the American dream? This is like real life American freaking horror story.
Can we talk about inflation for a second? I went for a run and, as you know, have my best thoughts when I was running. And I was thinking about how the other day I went to Larchmont and I ordered a matcha. It was $6.25. And when they punched it in, it said $7.50. And I was like, excuse me, why does it say $7.50 when you punched it in? And she's like, oh yeah, we raised the prices, but we haven't updated the board yet. And I was like, and she said, oh, also if you want almond or oat milk, it's going to be an additional 75 cents. And I'm like, well, I will not be having that. Thank you. I'm not spending $10 on a matcha, which PS, I don't like that I drink matcha, but coffee gives me anxiety. So I had to switch. I know it's bougie, but anyway, $10, like with the tax, with the tip, that's insane. And then I went to my local coffee shop and the same thing happened. I ordered my matcha. It used to be $6 and now it's $7.50. I'm no mathematician, but I think that's like a 25% increase, which is absolutely bonkers. That's way above the 3% cost of living inflation increase. And then I got a book off my shelf and it was from when I first moved to LA. There was a receipt in there. It was like my first diner breakfast. And I looked at the prices and just compared. An omelet used to be $12, now it's $15. A friend came to town and I was looking for happy hour drinks because, you know, trying to save some money. And you know how Google Maps has like images? I saw an image of an old menu from 4 years ago. The happy hour beverages were $8. Now they're $12. Can you imagine 4 years ago thinking that $12 was a deal for a happy hour beverage? That's absolutely crazy. So like, what is happening here? Why is everything so much more expensive? Also, my health insurance is an extra $100 a month, so that's $1,200 a year. Like, everything in the last year is so much more expensive, and again, is way beyond the 3 to 6% inflation increase that we should be seeing. So what is going on? Like, how are we supposed to stay afloat?
So I want to continue this conversation about how 99, I'm going to say 99, not even 95, 99% of us living in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area are suffering. And I want to continue this conversation in hopes that I will not only get more answers as to why other people think this is happening, but I will find all the other New Jerseyans and New Yorkers that are suffering in this with me. I feel like the American dream that they sold you is dead. At this point, I feel like it's a big fat lie. Because technically I did everything I was supposed to do. And my husband, he really did what he was supposed to do. This man suffers from Crohn's disease. And through the worst flare-up of his entire life, where he weighed the same weight as me, he went to school full-time and worked a job full-time. So he literally would work overnight shifts, get off at 7 in the morning, and then go to school at like 12 in the afternoon. And we're not just talking just like regular business school or whatever. We're talking engineering. He chose engineering because it's a great lucrative career, right? Well, he bust his aspirin, went to school, literally got the sickest he's ever been in his life, literally failed the class because he was so sick. We had a baby, went through COVID. I mean, such hard times in our lives. He pushed forward and graduated. And guess what? He makes no more money than he was making before. Can't even find a job that would pay him $150K. And $150K might sound like a lot to some, but that is literally nothing for here. You need at least $200K in the household to survive. And I want to focus on my fashion business. So not only can we not afford a home, we can barely afford rent. Something's got to give.
What I'm about to say is probably going to make you sick, but you probably need to hear it. You're not bad with money. America is really this expensive right now. But let's talk what it really costs to be average in this America. The average American household income is somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000, in that range. And after taxes, a lot of these people bring home anywhere from $40,000 to $55,000, which is not very much. Daycare for 2 kids costs upwards of $27,000 a year, which leaves, give or take, 19-ish grand to live off of. Breaking it down even further, that leaves about $350, give or take, a week for living expenses. And most people's household costs are well above that. The average household grocery cost right now is $800 to $900 a month. An average 3-bedroom apartment is upwards of $2,100 a month. I saw something recently that said that the most comfortable, livable income would be anywhere from $175,000 to $220,000 to be able to live comfortably. So no amount of eating ramen noodles or cutting out Starbucks or starving is going to change that. Our system is broken 110%. And we still continue to climb that ladder, hoping for better tomorrows.
You're about to get pissed off with me. Today, my ADHD self decided to go down a rabbit hole of what it actually costs to own and operate a car in Washington State. And I did all these calculations on the lower end of average so that I was giving people the benefit of the doubt that they were trying to get the best price they could. And personally, I bundle and save with all of these things like insurance policies since I'm married, and these single person prices are cheaper than what I'm paying right now. So anyway, let's... Insurance, annually $1,608 on average. I'm pretty sure I pay quadruple that with 2 people, so I'm probably overpaying. Car payment, $652. That's the average between a new car or a used car. So used car is about $520. With a 12-month payment, that is $7,824 per year. Gas, $2,421 per year. That's if you're driving like 11,000 miles. I think most people are driving 15,000 miles, so you could up that to like 3,000. Car maintenance, $1,267. That's oil changes, tire turns, whatever. Registration, $67.50 in Washington. I know some people get it cheaper in other states. So total cost for everyone is about $13,187 just to own one car and drive it regularly. Does that make you pissed off? I mean, that makes me super mad. I'm paying for 2 cars to be insured and 2 drivers, and honestly, it feels like it's totally essential to have a car and drive it to work and commute. I mean, I know some people live right next to their works, but there is no public transportation for me at all. I mean, I'm so grateful that I have a car and I can drive around wherever I want. It is a privilege, but are you kidding me? And this isn't even taking into account things like tolls. I pay a daily toll of about $5 just to drive across this dumb bridge, and also there's car depreciation. Your car's just going down in value every single year. Anyway, now that we're paying like 13 grand a year, I hope at least you're driving a cool car. At this rate of craziness, I'm contemplating doing a certificate of deposit. You put down 60 grand and you don't have to pay car insurance anymore because they consider you financially responsible. But honestly, that's a lot of money to tie up into an account that you're collecting 3 to 4% interest rate on. I mean, you can take it out at any time and start paying car insurance, but maybe not worth it. However, you can do it for like your entire family. So if you put 60 grand down and you have everyone's name on it, it covers insurance for your whole family. But if you get in an accident, they'll take money from that account to pay for the accident rather than an insurance company. So if you're spending more than 60 grand to help pay for this stuff, I mean, you could be in a lot of trouble. Plus for me, I have 2 boys and, you know, boys are accident prone. So when they start driving, I'm not really sure if I want that money tied to them.
On top of that, working almost every single day, getting no time off, getting treated not in a way I would prefer. I don't make enough money to survive. I make enough money to pay my bills and barely have anything left over.
Cost of living continues to rise. Wages are stagnant. This isn't rocket science. The blueprint to the American life and American dream 40, 50 years ago was sold much differently than it was now. Back in the day, wife, maybe a couple kids, house, car, one fucking job. Now, you can work a very prestigious corporate job and not even have anything left over.
The economy is no longer built on people growing wealth. It is now built on people just racking up as much debt as they possibly can.
System is very broken. And now that the basic necessities and just things of life that normally should not be so freaking difficult to happen, such as buying a house, are extremely difficult. And even people with a dual income household with pretty decent jobs cannot afford it.
Our generation went to high school, went to college with the promise that if you go to school, you'll get a great paying job, and then one day you'll be able to have your own home, have your own family. We were essentially sold a scheme that is no longer working. With jobs that are not covering all of our bills, so we're getting second jobs on the weekend when we're supposed to be relaxing, unwinding from our corporate job.
Forcing myself to do this week after week after week is just getting unbearable.
I am at work and working more than I am with my own 2 boys, my own family, and that breaks my fucking heart because I feel like I'm blinking and they're just growing up and I'm like not a part of it. I feel like I'm not a part of their lives.
We are not meant to just pay bills and die and work our asses off until we're old and we don't have the energy to enjoy our life.
I have to spend every moment of my life focused on how much money I can make. They've raised the retirement age and want us to work until the day that we die during a time where living costs are outrageous. I just want some quality of life.
None of us are okay. I feel like we're all in a darker place mentally than we've ever been. Things are not getting better. It feels like the end of times, and yet we're forced to go to our 9-to-5, shrug our shoulders, and pretend like it's all fine. It's not fine.
Are we ever going to be in a position again, making enough money to survive, chasing after the American dream, owning a house with the ability to afford health care? But should people have to work hard with 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to afford a place to live, leaving no time for rest or the ability to spend time with loved ones? Seems like our situation is bad and it only keeps getting worse.
And if you're feeling any kind of shame about your financial situation, if you are getting up, going to work every day, doing your best to put food on the table and put a roof over your family's head, then it's not your fault.
So yeah, I'm calling it what it is, a scam. The American dream doesn't exist anymore. What exists is an American hustle, where you work your entire life just to stay afloat. And honestly, that's not a dream, it's a nightmare. But what do you think? Is the American dream officially dead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you felt this rant, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's also questioning the lies we've been sold. And with that, I'm out.